We'll give you guys a minute to get up in here. Man, we had technical difficulties. I apologize for that. Man, I'm gonna give you guys a minute to get up in here before we get started. Man, family, come on in, come on in. Man, I apologize for the other live. For whatever reason, it started early. Um, and we wasn't ready for it. And so I had to go back in and restart it all over. So come on in, family, come on in. Man, before we get started, man, what's up with you, Queen? Before we get started, man, on behalf of my mother-in-law, man, I bless each and every one of you that come on and catch this. What's up with you, Keith? Um, what's up with you, Paul? Man, I bless you in the name of my mother-in-law, on behalf of my mother-in-law, put it that way. Man, I bless each and every one of you, man, and thank you for being here. For those of you that catch this later, man, I bless you as well, and may, you continue to grow and heal, man, on this journey. Man, we had a lot of technical difficulties right before we got going, and for whatever reason, man, it started early, and I apologize for that. I had to shut it down and re-put everything back in there to get it up. That being said, man, we're having a serious conversation today. Sex and making love. Making love and sex. You know what I mean? Man, they do not go hand in hand. You know what I mean? They don't have anything to do with each other, but they can. You know what I mean? Stay with, what's up with you, Stevie? Man, we have to grow up, and we have to, and the thing that has to grow up in us is our way of thinking. We have to elevate our way of thinking. We have to change our perspective on life. We have to change our perspective on how we see things, on a lot of things. That's what has us stuck. That's what has us messed up, is our perspective of life, our perspective of how we see the world. You know what I mean? Our perspective on how we view our past. That's what has us discombobulated. You know what I mean? That's what has us in depression and frustrated and suicidal and all those other negative toxic thoughts. You know what I mean? Processes. It's because how we see things. That's what has us twisted. And so many of us, we have a total misunderstanding of sex. You know what I mean? So many of us, the great majority of us, have no comprehension of what making love is. You know what I mean? At all. You can make love without even touching somebody. You know what I mean? And it's a trip because we think, so many of us, we think, man, making love is just, man, I'm just into you, and we just pounding, and we just going through the animalistic thing of just having sex, of sexual penetration, and that's making love. That's animalistic. That's basic. That has nothing to do with making love at all. And so many guys, we miss this. So many women, they think that, man, just because I lay down and I'm giving you my body and I'm just here, I'm making love to you and what do. And the guy ain't making love to you at all. He's not engaged in love making in any way, shape, or form. He's there to get a nut. We're gonna have grown folk talking. Some of this is probably gonna be offensive, and man, this is not gonna be PG-13 at all. You know what I mean? This is a grown folk channel, and so we have to grow up. And I say sometimes, well, you can have sex. Not sex, but you can make love to somebody just holding their hand. You can make love to somebody just being in their vicinity. You can make love to somebody just sitting there having a meal together. Sitting there laughing and chopping it. You could be making love to that person and they making love back to you. See, we have to grow up. You know what I mean? We have to allow our thought process to change. So many of us, we have the same thought process we had when we were little kids. Making love is just sexual penetration. That's not making love at all. At all. It can be, but it don't have to be. And so, man, we have to grow up. This is true. And I didn't understand that growing up. Again, I had no idea what love was at all. My concept of love was tainted from the gate. So I had no understanding, what's up with you, Derek? No understanding of what love was. And so many of us, we have no idea what love is. And so we glamorize the process of making love. And the process that we glamorize is, man, I'm laying there and I'm butt naked and the candles are lit and the music is playing in the background. The lighting is just right. And my king comes in, your queen comes in, and you guys are intimate and and you guys are sweating. And 2 hours later, you guys are done. And man, we had great intimate sex. Man, the lovemaking was on point and all this other bullshit. Just because you have sex don't mean you've ever had love. See, there's different aspects to sex. There's different levels to sex. And most guys don't get that. See, guys, for the most part, we go into sex, and it's just a physical thing. We just want to connect physically, and that connection is just my body, your body. Man, I'm enjoying your titties, your ass, your kitty cat, and everything else, and you enjoying me, and we just going to work, and and we just going, and we can't keep our hands off each other, and we pounding each other, and I'm deep into you, and I'm whispering into your ear, and and you whispering in my ear, and and we think that's loving, making love. That's just physical. See, that's just a basic level. See, there's another level of making love, or not making, of having sex. And that's where you get your emotions are involved. Most guys they ain't got their emotions involved when it comes to sex. Most guys, it's just a physical thing. I see you, I'm lusting after you. I think you got nice titties. I think your ass is right. Man, you got sexy ass lips. And all I'm thinking about is what I'm going to do with you. How I'm going to wear your ass out. I'm going to break your back and woo-doo-doo. It's all physical. That's all it is. A lot of times women are deeper than guys. They're deeper than guys, if we're honest about it. See, a woman could be attracted to you and think, man, he got nice pecs, and man, look at his arms, and man, look at his legs, and woo, and man, and then she's also thinking, man, I'm opening myself up, I'm becoming vulnerable, I'm giving all of me to you. And so there's an emotional attachment for most women. It's changing now because women have become just as dogmatic as guys. Women are becoming just as big a hoes as guys. Stay with me, I'm gonna explain that in a second. Women are becoming just as superficial as guys. See, in the old days and years past, guys were the superficial ones in the aspect of when it came to sex. It was a physical thing. Whereas the woman was more intimate, the woman was more emotional, there were more emotions attached to it. And that's why when you betrayed a woman, when you slept around on a woman, man, it was the worst thing you could ever do. Because she opened herself up and she became so vulnerable to you. And so there's an emotional attachment there. So many guys, this is just a physical thing. We can hit it, whoop, whoop, and get up and leave. And not care nothing about it. Man, that was cool. Thank you with the whoop. Here's a kiss. Here's a 20. Here's 50. Here's a 100. Whatever you gonna do, man, take her out to eat or whatever the case may be. You took her out to eat before. Now this is her payback. You know what I mean? This is her way of thanking you. Because you don't took her out to eat to McDonald's or Taco Hill, so you expect some shit in return. So you hit it and you dip out because there's no emotional attachments there. You just released your nut. It was just a release of energy for you. That's all it was. But for the woman, for the most part, there's an emotional attachment there. Guys don't make that emotional attachment for the most part. And above the emotional attachment, There's a spiritual attachment. There's a spiritual connection. We're going to get deep. Stay with me. And guys, we don't understand that. We think, man, if I hit it and I give it to her real good, that's why she keeps coming back to me. That's why she keeps calling me. That's why she keeps wanting me back in with her. Because you think you wore her ass out. You think you put it on her and she's in love with you because of your dick. And no, she made an emotional attachment to you. And so she's attached to you emotionally. She can't let go. It's like an emotional bond. There's an emotional bond there that's deeper than the physical connection. And so it's harder for her to let go. Because she connected to you on an emotional level. You wasn't part of that connection. But she gave you her emotions. And so now when she think about the sex, oh, the sex was great. What's up with you, Titans? The sex was great. But she's thinking about the emotional feelings that she got from that. You think about, man, the kitty cat was nice and wet, and woo-doo-doo, man, I like her titty, da-da-da-da-da. And you think about, man, she had perfect lips, da-da-da-da. You think about the superficial aspect. She's thinking about how she felt. How it made her feel. Because of the emotional attachment. So she put more on it than just the physical sex. There's emotions involved now. There's emotions. And it's a trip because as guys, for the most part, we don't really understand that. We don't really get that. Because women, for the most part, are more emotional than we as men are. They're more comfortable with sharing and expressing their emotions than we are. We express our emotions when we get mad, something pisses us off, or something along those lines when it comes to sports. But when it comes to each other, women are a whole lot more comfortable expressing their emotions than we as guys. We could be so callous. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, I like you. I dig you. And we're nothing about it. We say that because we expect her to. She expects us to say that. We're saying that because we're trying to be nice to her. And most of the time, we don't understand that we're emotionally connected until we're already in love. And then we're like, where the fuck this come from? Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. But for the most part, we're disconnected from our emotions as guys. So all we want to do, we just want to hit it. We just want to have fun. Whereas the women, for the most part, they want to have fun. But they want that emotional commitment too. They want that emotional connection. See, yeah, it made them feel good. Yeah, they got their nut on. But it was a release of their emotions as well. It was a connection of their emotions as well. And so many women, they think, man, because they're emotionally connected with this guy during sex, man, I'm in love. And so many women have misconstrued the emotional aspect of, man, I've connected. Man, I think this way of this guy. He touched me just right. He made me just feel just right. And man, my body just tingles. And man, I just get the butterflies and I get the goosebumps in my hair stand up. And all this other stuff. And man, he could just look at me a certain way and I get moist. He could just look at me a certain way and my nipples get perky. He could just touch me a certain way and I cream and all this crazy shit. Why? Because there's an emotional attachment there. There's an emotional attachment there. Because the trip is another guy that she don't like, can touch her the exact same way and it don't do nothing for her. Another guy could come in and force her to have sex or coerce her to have sex, and it don't do anything for her. He could touch her the exact same way in all the right places still, and it don't do anything for her. Or maybe it's you, man, in the beginning, man, you touched her just right. You made her feel just right, and just touching her, man, just blowing on her ear, just nibbling on her ear, or whatever the case may be, just nibbling on the back of her neck or on her neck or whatever. Man, that did it for her. That got her aroused. That got her turned up. So you guys get in a relationship, and things start going a little sour. And you think, man, I remember just all I had to do was just touch her and then to get her wet. All I had to do was just nibble on her ear and bite her on the back of her neck and just grab her hair, wrap it around my hands and pull in just tightly, just right. And that would do something for her. And you try the exact same stuff and it don't do shit for her. It don't move her. It don't excite her. It don't turn her on. In fact, all the things that you used to do that she thought was so fucking cute, all the things that you used to do that she thought was so sexy, all the things you used to do that turned her on, now turn her off. The exact same things. Why? It's the same touch. It's the same process. But she thinks differently about you now. The emotions have changed. The physical act is still the same. In the past, you'd be able to bend over and just go to work and she come all over the place. Now you do it and she feel dirty and grimy. Now she can't wait for you to get off her. It's the exact same acts. And you can't understand what's changed. I'm doing everything that I used to do. And she's turned off by you. She's not into you. She's not into the sex. Why? Her emotions have changed. Her emotional attachment to what you're doing is changed. That's all that's changed. You're doing the exact same acts, but her attachment, her emotional attachments, her thoughts about it, her feelings about it, and you have changed. And so now, it's not intimate. Now, it's not love. Now, it's just a job. I'm just doing what I gotta do to shut you up. I don't want to do it. I don't like you. I don't want you touching me. But in order to keep the peace, man, do what you do. And I'm going to lay here and fake the funk and act like it feel good and act like I'm turned on and and act like I come and I ain't came in 7 years. I ain't felt good in 5 years. I got to make myself come and all this other stuff. When you think everything is cool because you're getting yours off as a dude. And you believe she's still into you. You believe you still putting in that work. And you don't even understand that she's disconnected from you. You don't even understand that she's growing apart from you. You don't even understand that you're grossing her out. She couldn't wait for you to touch her in the beginning. She got excited just anticipating you touching her. Now, she's grossed out by you touching her. Now, she's frustrated by you doing the exact same acts that you used to do to excite her. So we have to grow up. We have to understand the emotional attachment. Whatever you want to call it, can be the exact same acts of making love. The difference is the spiritual and the emotional attachment to the acts. See, you could sit there and be more connected, holding your girl's hand, holding your guy's hand, just looking at each other, laughing, sharing a soda, sharing a pizza, watching a movie, looking at a sunset, going for a ride in the car, reminiscing of some old good music. And she could reach over and grab your leg and squeeze your leg and give you that look. And that look is, I'm so fucking in love with you. I'm so into you. I'm so at one with you. And she could be more connected to you in that moment than both of you been butt-ass naked and you penetrating her. It's all about the attachments, the emotional attachments, the spiritual attachments. That's the trip is. How do you prepare yourself for your time with your partner? Do you prepare yourself emotionally? Do you prepare yourself spiritually? See, most of us, we just think, man, this is something that God lets us do. This is the one thing that God lets us do that's dirty and kinky and fun. The one thing God turns his back on us, and he just like, man, I know y'all humans, y'all gonna do what y'all do, y'all nasty little motherfuckers. Go ahead and do what you do for 15 minutes, 15 seconds, whatever it is you do. Man, go ahead, do, you know what I mean? And I'll turn back around and I'll watch y'all when you're done. See, we don't act or we don't think about, man, the God in me, my soul, my spirit. When I want to make love to my woman, man, am I bringing all of me or am I just bringing my physical body? Is it just my dick that I'm bringing to the table and my physical skin? Is that all I'm bringing to the? Is my mind on the level of, man, I want to connect with you emotionally. I want to connect with you spiritually. I want to be one with you in this moment. Yeah, we about to turn up. We about to get lit. We about to get buck ass fucking wild. But at the same time, I want to be one with you. I want to connect with you on a spiritual level. I want to connect with you on the emotional level. This is not fragmented sex. Fragmented sex is just my physical body's here. I'm just getting a physical nut. Or is it, I want to make love to you? I want to be one. Your spirit, your soul becomes one with my spirit, my soul. See, most of us don't think like that. Most of us get to the point of, man, I'm looking at you and you fine as wine and damn, you sexy as fuck. And man, I like your ass. Man, I like, how many of us sit there and say, man, God, help me make love to this person. God, show me how to make love to this person. God, how do I make love with this person? See, we think that, man, because we've had so many sexual encounters in the past, oh, I know what to do. Oh, I know how to educate a guy. And we think we know everything what to do. Oh, I know how to suck dick. And you think that just because you've been engaged with with sex with all these other people in your past, that you know how to come into this relationship, and you're gonna bring your past and he gonna bring his past, and y'all think y'all gonna make that work, and y'all gonna turn up, have fun, fall in love with the group, and y'all gonna be connected and y'all making love. No, you're not. And I tell people, you have to teach her how to make love to you. He has to teach you how to make love to him. And see, so many people out there, oh no, he's a grown-ass person. You have experience with having sex with other people. That don't mean that this person is going to like what those other people liked. That don't mean that it's going to take this person the exact same thing to connect with you emotionally, spiritually, and physically that it took those other people to connect with. Every guy ain't the same. Every woman ain't the same. Every woman don't like their nipples being bit. Every woman don't like their earlobes bitten or nibbled on. Everybody ain't the same. But we go into sex thinking, oh, she's a girl, I'm a guy, and I put my stuff in her, and we whoop, 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 and we good. And that's where we fuck up at. That's where we mess up at. Because we think we know everything. We think we're so damn smart and can't nobody tell us shit. And the truth is, we have to learn each other. We have to learn what pleases each other. Oh, you don't like this, babe? Okay. Oh, you don't like when I do this? Okay. I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to learn you and understand you and grow with you so that we can become one. All I have is my past experiences. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And so we experiment together. You show me what you like. You tell me what you like. And I got to do the same. And we got to be comfortable enough with each other to be able to have this conversation. Two adults sitting down talking, babe, you know what? Man, I like it when you do this. Oh, baby, I love it when you do this. And baby, this gets me going. Not comparing nobody to nobody. We have to understand, man, as adults, we have to open up a conversation. We have to be able to talk with each other without you getting offended. Making love. It's two people coming together. And it doesn't even have to be sexual at all. At all. And it's a trip because, and I tell people all the time, and I'm always having this conversation with women. Be careful who the fuck you talking to at work and outside of the household. And I have the same conversation with guys, but this happens more with women. Because their their guy ain't at that point to where she can be intimate with him. And I'm not talking about sexual, intimate and having a transparent, open conversation. So she goes to work. And she's just talking to her friends. And she's talking to this guy at work. He's just a friend at work. And she's just talking to him, and he's sitting there just listening to her, just taking it all in. He's doing all the things that her man won't do. It's so easy to talk to you, Billy. Man, you just make life so easy. And I could just sit here and just pour out my heart and my soul and not feel judged and not feel disrespected and not put down and dismissed and blah. Man, I just talk to you and we just connect emotionally and we do. And before you know it, you've fallen in love. Because you've connected with this guy on a level that you could not connect with your man. And so now you're having an emotional affair. And so many of us have emotional affairs with other people. outside of our relationship with our significant other. So many of us, we engage in conversations that we should have never done. We open ourselves up with other people. And it started out as just me complaining about my wife, her cooking, or her not cleaning, or her not wanting to satisfy me, and her always been tired, or my man always been tired. And it always starts out as, man, I'm just venting and I'm just talking, and I'm not trying to badmouth my maid or nothing of that nature. We just talking and chopping it up. And before long, because you guys have made an emotional connection, there's an attachment there. There's an attachment there. We have to grow up. Guys, you have to grow the fuck up. You have to learn how to become transparent to your woman, to your mate. If you want to keep them, you have to learn how to become transparent and vulnerable to them. You have to learn how to sit there and listen and become one with them. You have to sit there and learn how to just listen and take it all in and not personalize it. I understand there's times when both of us are tired. Or you're tired, you just got off work and you're just exhausted. And it's like, man, baby, I just need some time just to, man, just relax. I can't take this right now. Babe, can you give me a few minutes? I'll give you my time. I'll connect with you in a little bit. Just give me some time. It's not that I'm dismissing your feelings. It's not that I'm invalidating how you feel or what to do. I just need some time. I'm overwhelmed right now. And if you force me to, I can't guarantee that I'm going to listen and be as attentive and nurturing and caring as I would be if you give me some time. Just give me a few minutes. Give me an hour, whatever it is. That's mutual respect. That's mutual appreciation for each other. That's part of loving each other. That's part of valuing each other. But see, what we want to do, I feel this way, and you should just listen to me, and and it's like, damn, you're so fucking inconsiderate. I want to listen to you, but just right here, right now, ain't the time. We're talking about sex and making love. And that little thing right there becomes a wall, a divisive thing. And now we start disrespecting each other. Now we can't connect with each other. Why? Because he's sitting there feeling frustrated, like, damn, why can't she respect the fact that I just need a break? I just got off work, dealt with all that fucking traffic. Now I'm coming home, and before I can just sit down and relax or take a shower or exhale or whatever, man, she's on me. Whoop, do it, da, 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 da. And it's like, fuck, I need a fucking drink. I don't even want to come home because I know I'm going to come home to some, some bullshit. How come she can't just let me have like an hour to fucking just unwind? And so he feels like, man, she's invalidating what I need. She's so disrespectful. She's so fucking just needy. She don't give a fuck about how I feel. And she's sitting there thinking, damn, this selfish motherfucker, he been gone all fucking day, and now he come home, and now it's just me and him, and I need to talk to him, and I want to talk to him, and he don't even want to talk to me. This motherfucker don't give a fuck about how I feel. He's so fucking selfish. He's so fucking narcissistic, and what do that? And they're both feeling the exact same way over the exact same fucking thing. And ain't neither one of them listening to each other. Ain't neither one of them connecting with each other. And that comes in. and it builds a wall that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And so there is no emotional connections anymore. There is no attachments anymore. There is no making love. Because we can't come together and be one. And so I say it all the time, man, we have to invite God. Now, I'm not talking about religion. I don't give a fuck about religion, any religion. I don't. But we have to invite God into our relationship. It's a trip because we sit here and we pray to God for our king. We pray to God for our queen, and then we get them, and then we fuck up the relationship. Because we fuck up because we got them. Okay, now I know what to do. Now I'm gonna do it the way I want to do it. And this is the way I did it with Billy. This is the way I did it with Jamie. This is the way I did it with Jared. This is the way I did it with Ricky. This is the way I did it with Smiley and all this other bullshit. And they love me and they couldn't keep their hands off me. And you think that that's gonna work for James over here. We have to grow up. We have to evolve in our thinking and our thought process. And it's a trip because we have to connect with God to get on divine timing. We have to connect with God, get universal consciousness, universal wisdom, infinite knowledge. But then when it comes to our relationship, man, we totally push God out of it. When it comes to our intimate relationship, when it comes to making love, when it comes to connecting with this person that God just brought to us, man, we completely push God out of it. As though God don't know how to fucking connect with this person. And we're sitting there and we're mad at this person for not being the queen and the king that we want her to be. And we've never taken the time to connect with them emotionally, spiritually. And when I say, man, invite God into the relationship, I'm not talking about, man, you got to sit there, dear Heavenly Father, I come to you, bowed down and humbled. And no, you ain't got to do all that bullshit. That's religious bullshit. You ain't got to do all that bullshit. You just have to be humble to the point, man, God, I'm grateful for this person. I don't know all of their past. I don't know all of their traumas. I don't know all of their issues. Help me be the man that I can be to help them heal. Help me be the woman that I could be to help him heal. I know he's gone through some stuff with women. Help me so I don't become another statistic in his life. Help me so I don't become another person that caused him trauma. Or he sees it so fucking dramatic. God, how do I be the woman that he needs? How do I be the queen that he needs? God, how do I be the man, the king, the provider, the lover that she needs? How do I meet her needs intimately? How do I meet her needs spiritually? I don't want to just meet her physical needs. Because if all I do is meet her physical needs, that's superficial. If all she's able to do is meet my physical needs, one of us, both of us, we're going to get frustrated in this relationship because we're not going to feel like we're able to talk to each other. And we're going to go find somebody to talk to. We're going to find somebody to connect to. And that's leading us down a path to killing this relationship, to destroying this relationship. And everything that we didn't want to do, as far as destroying this relationship, having to start all over, and with the man, we're now on the path to have to do all those things. Because we never taken the time to understand, man, I have spiritual needs, I have emotional needs, I have physical needs, I have intellectual needs, and so does she. So does she. How do I meet her needs? How can I meet her needs? How can I be all that she needs? To where she's not looking for somebody to fill her needs. How can I fill his needs? So he's not out looking for somebody else to fill any of those needs. There's a major difference. Two people that get together. And it happens all the time. It has nothing to do with how much money you have. It has nothing to do with how your job or anything else of this nature. There's very rich, very wealthy people that are struggling with this exact same thing. Multi-millionaires. They've connected physically, but they've never learned how to connect emotionally and spiritually. They connected financially, and they became great business partners, but they've never learned how to connect emotionally. They've never learned how to connect spiritually. They've never learned how to become this person's teacher and healer emotionally, spiritually. It's a trip. Sex and making love. It's not just a physical thing. Sex is just a physical thing. Making love is an emotional and spiritual and physical thing. It's all three together. It's all three. It's the whole person. Most of us can't comprehend that. Most of us has never understood that. Most of us, we had sex and it was great. We've connected, some of us, emotionally, and that was great. Until that person pissed me off. Or until that person did something to rub me the wrong way. They did something, said something that I didn't like. And it offended me. Now I'm disgusted by them. I severed that emotional connection. Do you know the difference between making love and having sex? Strangers. People you've never met. There's been so many people that I've met at the clubs, at the bars when I was young and dumb. Didn't even know their names. Took them home and had sex. I didn't even care about their names. Never even thought about asking them their names. I didn't respect them, didn't care about them. I was on some selfish trip. I had issues that I had to resolve, and that was releasing a nut. And all you served was a purpose or means for me to release a nut. I had no understanding of loving, making love. at all. I didn't know what making love meant. I thought making love was just two people getting together and having sex and liking it. I thought that was making love. You cannot make love without being emotionally and spiritually connected. You can't. You can't. You can have great sex, but it's not love. You can only make love by being whole. You can only make love by including your spirit, your mind, and your body. You have to bring your whole being into the process of making love. The truth is, because at our core, we're love. We're beings of love. But in order for us to be that whole being of love, man, our emotions, our thought process, our spirit, our soul, and our physical being has to be one. It has to be one. And so many of us, we live fragmented lives. Our intellect is one thing. Our feelings are something totally different. Our spirit is something totally different. Our body, and we're all doing all these different things. We're all over the place. We're always at war. Because your body wants to do what your spirit is saying don't do. And your feelings want to do something that your spirit is saying don't do. Your feelings is doing something that your body is like, oh no. And so you're always at war. And this is why you can say that, man, my mind is telling me one thing, but my heart is telling me something different. I was talking to a young lady earlier, and she was telling me how, man, this guy took her to another church. He started going to another church last year, and she went to the church with him. They broke up and get back together off and on, like for years, been doing this. And he's always had another girlfriend. He's always been cheating on her and just all this other crazy shit, right? This guy's older than I am, right? But this is what their relationship like, he just constantly off and on. And so she gets back with this guy, and they start going to another church, and she's going to her regular church, and something in her spirit told her to go to this church. And so she pops up, and he shows up at this other church that they were going to with another lady. Spirit told her to go to the church again this past Sunday, and she goes to the church again, and he's there with he brought this other young lady in. And then he finally tells her that him and this other young lady are dating. But these two are supposed to be dating. You know what I mean? And so I told her, I was like, man, when are you going to stop playing these games? When are you going to stop allowing him to treat you this way? See, her heart was telling her one thing, but her spirit was telling her something different. Her spirit kept telling her, this ain't the one for you. Her spirit kept telling her, he's dogging you out. He don't love you. He don't respect you. He don't value you. But her heart was telling her something different. Because she wasn't at one. She wasn't in alignment. And when you hear me say alignment, I'm talking about all three being connected on the same frequency. Your spirit, your soul, your mind, and your heart. What's up with you, Kendra? I'm gonna have to get that from the Queen. I didn't really see what you wrote down. And so in order for you to be one, your mind, your soul, and your body has to be in alignment, has to be in agreement. Same thing with the other person. But the trip is so often we go into relationships and our mind is with somebody else still. We're here with this person. We're planning house and marriage with this person. We're going through the acts with this person. But emotionally, we're still stuck in our ex. Emotionally, we're still caught up in the past. And so you can't be at one if your thoughts and feelings are somewhere else. You could go through all the acts you want to. You could lay there, play married. You could lay there, do all the stuff you want to. You could lay there and have kids together. But it's going to end. It's going to crumble. Why? Because there's no alignment there. There's no emotional, spiritual connection there. I'm not talking about something that I've read in books. I've lived this. I've lived this over and over and over again. And if you're not careful, we're talking about making love and sex. And if you're not careful, you'll blame yourself. Stay with me. My younger kid's mom, we got married. I had just been a single parent for like 8 years. I'm totally committed to this relationship. I thought she was committed to this relationship. She said it with her mouth. She showed it with her actions. But her mind was still with her oldest baby daddy. Her mind was still with the first love of her life. I didn't know that. And so I'm doing everything that I could to please her. I'm doing everything I could to make her just feel like she's happy and she's loved. And I'm trying to do everything right to make her happy and everything else. But no matter what I did, was never enough. No matter what I did, was not it for her. Not because I did anything wrong, but because she was emotionally attached to someone else. Physically, she was there. Emotionally, she was gone and wasn't there. And so often people get in relationships and this is going on. And you're trying to figure out, man, I'm trying to do everything I can with this person. I'm trying to pray. I'm crying to God. I'm trying to get help from God. And we'll do them. And this person just, man, I'm doing everything. And they're never satisfied. They're never happy. And what I'm trying to connect with them. I'm trying to be one with them. And we'll do them. And they're not happy. They're not satisfied. Or what do they're always complaining. And they're always just distant. Why? Because their mind is gone. They never connected with you on that level. They never gave you that part of their being. They never surrendered that part of them to you. I don't care how great you thought you was. They didn't surrender that part of them. They were fragmented. And so although you was in love because you were one, they were fragmented. They wasn't into the relationship like you was. You gave your all, but they couldn't accept it. They didn't want it because they wanted something else. And so often we think, man, this guy loves me and he just whoop, whoop, whoop. He's always here and the sex is great and blah, 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 blah. And his mind is somewhere else. His mind is still with his baby mama. His mind is still with his ex. Or maybe it's reversed. As the guy, you're doing everything you can. You're trying to be transparent and vulnerable and engage in all this conversation, and her mind is gone. She's not there. Because she's still stuck on somebody that got away. She's still stuck on somebody that don't want her. She's still stuck on somebody that dogged her out. She's still stuck on somebody that left her. And so she can't connect with you in that capacity. You're not going to help her heal because she don't want to heal. You're not going to help him heal because he doesn't want to heal. Emotionally, he's gone. And so you think you're making love. And all you're doing is having sex. You think you're making this great commitment and you guys are so connected with him, and it's just sex to him. That's all it's ever been. That's all it's ever gonna be. Because the truth is, he really don't want you. The truth is, she really don't want you. They want somebody else that they can't have. And so they're settling for you. Physically. But emotionally, they're gone. And they weren't there. Man, we have to grow up. We have to humble ourselves. I'm always talking about, man, we have to get in alignment with God. We have to take on the perspective of God. We have to see through the eyes of God. We have to see through our third eye. That's the eyes of God. So many of us, we're trying to build loving relationships with somebody we shouldn't even be with. Because they're incapable of loving you back. They're incapable of connecting with you on a higher level. And I don't care how great the sex is. I don't care how much money they bring to the table. I don't care what all they're willing to do for you. Cook and clean and all that other stuff. If they're not willing to connect with you in all capacities, spirit, emotions, and body, it's not going to work. And that's a hard pill to hear. Because we think, man, I could just put it on them. I could just give them great sex and that'll make them fall in love. Okay. Keep believing that. And you're going to keep getting your heart broke. Keep believing that. And you're going to keep getting disappointed. Keep believing that. And you're going to keep getting left. It's not that you're not a good person. It's not that you're not a great person. You're just not the person for them. And nothing you do is going to make you the person for them. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you love them and you made yourself vulnerable to them. They're not going to love you. They're not. It is what it is. It's a hard pill to hear. Every one of us, we're going to grow up one day and we're going to come to this understanding. Stop trying to force people to love you. Stop trying to convince people you're the one. Stop trying to show people you're the one. So when you're the one, there's going to be a connection. Emotional, spiritual, and physical. You could sit there and just share an ice cream together. And that'd be the best date ever. Sitting there watching a movie together, eating snacks, sitting on the bed laughing, chopping it up, giggling, having a blast. Man, you could sit there and not even be sexual. And it'd be the best time ever. It's better than all the sex you've had because you've connected on a deeper level. You're going to grow up one day and you're going to come to this understanding. But you have to know who you are. And you have to be willing to trust God, source, the universe. That the person that you're with, or the person that he or she brings into your life, is the person that's supposed to be in your life. See, so many of us, we have quote unquote great people in our life, but they're not the one for you. I don't care how great they are. I don't care how much money they have. I don't care how kind and sweet they are. They're not the one for you. The sex can be great, but they're not the one for you. And what most of us do is end up trying to force the relationship. End up trying to make it work. And all we do is add to our frustration and become bitter and angry that we wasted so much time. We've invested so much time and energy and money into this person. And now we don't have anything to show for it. We squandered our best times of our life. We squandered our youth. The best years of our life. We squandered all this money. And they're gone. They're gone. And now you don't believe in love anymore. You don't trust love anymore. You don't give a fuck about love anymore. Because you've been broken. And you were broken because you didn't want to grow up. You were broken because you didn't want to see it for what it really was. You thought it was deeper than what it was. You thought it was the one. And it was never that. It was never meant to be that. Man, my hope and prayer is that we understand. We don't know it all. We don't know it all. We've all made bad choices. We've all gotten into relationships that we shouldn't have. And that's okay. That doesn't make you a bad person. That doesn't make you stupid. That doesn't make you ignorant or a dummy or any of that other stuff. You're just a human being trying to find your way, trying to navigate through this process of love. And love can be so confusing when you really don't know what love is. Sex can be so confusing when you don't know what love is. It's a trip. I've shared that I love watching elderly people. I love talking to older people. People that's been together 50, 60, 70 years. And how they still look at each other And they're still so in love with each other. They could just hold each other's hands and walk the beach and just be in heaven. They could just look at each other and just smile to each other and just giggle, and their light, their aura, everything lights up. Because they made the connection. They've made that connection. And now they're no longer having sex. Haven't had sex in years. But they still make that connection. And their eyes light up. And they're more in love today than they ever were before. They're more in love today. They're more connected today than they were when they're in their 30s. Than when they were in their 40s or 20s. Because love is not about sex. Love is about making a commitment and making a connection on a deeper level than what's physical. A deeper level than what's just emotional. Making love. It's a connection. Spiritual connection, an emotional connection, and a physical connection all at the same time. And it don't have to have anything to do with sex. I could just look at my queen and we could just be looking at each other, and I could just look into her eyes and I get the jitters. I could look into her eyes, and no matter what's going on in my day, I could just look in her eyes and my whole body just melts. She could just touch me on my shoulder just right, and just my whole body melts. She has a way of just taking her hands and just putting it on my face. And I don't even know where she got that from. But she has a way of just touching my face. And it's just like, ah. And the truth is, just her touching my face in the way that she's done, the connection there has been more intimate, more loving, more nurturing than what I've had in the past. Of sex, great sex, wild sex, and all that other stupid shit I was doing. Because of the connection. The connection between the two of us. The bond that's been established. So many of us, we've made bonds with people who've never made that bond back to you. You've committed to people emotionally that's never committed back to you emotionally. They were there for the sexual rise. They were there for the physical stuff. But the emotional stuff was you asking too much. You demanding too much from them. They couldn't commit to that. They wouldn't commit to that. And that was God's source universe's way of trying to show you that's not the one for you. I don't care how good looking he is. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care how thick she is. I don't care how much money they have. They're not the one for you. I wasn't, Kill Queen, I wasn't able to read all of that. That was like a lot. I'm gonna get that information from the Queen, but she'll get that to me and I'll try to respond to that. And so we have to grow up. And the truth is, we have to humble ourselves and get in alignment with God, universal consciousness. God, am I supposed to be giving my energy to this person? Am I supposed to be giving my essence to this person? And is this person, am I supposed to just be an ear for them? Or am I supposed to give my physical being, my spiritual being, and my emotional being to them? See, because we'll get led astray because we'll get stuck on the stupid stuff, on the superficial stuff. Man, man, I want somebody to look just like this. I want somebody to talk just like this. And so many guys are great at talking the talk, but not walking the walk. They're great at saying all the right things to make you feel like, man, they're the one. They're so mature. We have this connection. And it's all gas. It's all air to get you stuck, to get you fixated, to get you trapped, and to get you to let your walls down. Because now they got you right where they want you. And women do the same thing now. And so you have to be connected to God to be able to discern, is this real? Or is this a figment of my imagination? Is this real, or am I just putting too much on this? Because I want this so bad. Just because I want it, don't mean I'm supposed to have it. Killer Queen, I'm reading your comment, your question. How about when you connect with someone who it's like, man, if only we didn't have sex because we connected on so many levels, but weren't the one for each other? I don't know if I really understand that. So was it the sex that disconnected, you know, the what you guys had? You know, so often, and I tell young women this all the time, guys too, don't have sex till you're ready emotionally. But most people don't want to hear that. Most people think they're mature enough to have sex. I was having sex, hell, in the 7th grade. Already doing a whole bunch of stupid stuff in the 7th grade. You couldn't tell me nothing about sex in the 7th grade. I didn't understand that sex can be so deceptive. Great sex great sex. Okay. Great sex can have you thinking that the relationship is deeper than what it really is. Great sex can have you thinking that, man, you guys got this bond, you guys got this connection. You're the one for each other. But all it is great sex. All it's ever gonna be is just great sex. And so many people have gotten frustrated and mad and brokenhearted because they put more on that than what it was. They thought this was the one for me. She's the one for me. He's the one for me. And they weren't. But sex got them twisted into thinking that person was more than what they really were. And so they saw that person, and sometimes great sex will make you overlook character defects and red flags and warnings that God is trying to send you about that other person, but you can't see it because you're so captivated by the sex. And so you dismiss their abusive nature. You dismiss their disrespect. You dismiss all the red flags because the sex was great. Sex can be a great thing. Sex can be an evil thing too. When I say evil, I'm saying that sex can have you so twisted, so messed up, because you weren't in alignment. You never connected to God. I've been with so many women whose bodies was like papaya, but the elevator didn't go to the top floor. There wasn't all that up here. They weren't real bright. They weren't real intelligent. They weren't spiritual in any way, shape, or form. They were like airheads, just, but their bodies, whoo. When you're connected to God, you feel like you could connect to many men. We have to be careful with that, because the truth is, you hear me say namaste all the time. We have to be careful, because we can see God in each other. You hear me say the phrase namaste. My soul can recognize, man, there's something good about you. Man, my soul can recognize, man, this person, man, we're like cloth. We're the same tribe. I see the God in you. I recognize the God in you. And because I recognize the God in you, I get twisted and I think that, man, you're the one for me. Because I recognize God in you. And that's not physical. Just because you recognize God in me, don't mean I'm the one for you. Don't mean you're the one for me. Every single person has God in them. So we're going to connect with many people. And this is where we get it messed up. Because we see the God in them. And we don't recognize it as God in them. We just recognize, man, there's a connection. There's a bond that we have. And I can't put my fingers on it because, man, there's just this attraction. And it's not all physical, but we don't recognize that's God in them connecting to the God in you. And if the truth be told, if we get past our judgments, if we get past our dislikes, we'll see the God in everybody. We'll recognize the God in everybody. But so many of us, we look at people on the outside, and we look at people like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton, or people that we don't like, people that disgust us, and we'll look at these people like, how the heck can you have God in you? And you're the demon, and you're the devil, and you're a witchcraft. And everybody has God in them. Everybody has God in them. And so your soul connects with the fact that, man, I see me in them. There's a connection there. And it's like, man, our souls are attracted because they're similar. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to be with each other. That doesn't mean that I'm the one for you or you're the one for me. There's been so many women since I started this YouTube channel. There's been so many women that's reached out to me and that's had all these dreams and visions and man, they just connected with me. And man, there was just something about my video popped up at a certain time and I spoke whatever words I spoke. And man, there was a connection in the bond and man, I was the one for them. They knew I was the one for them. I've had so many women tell me this. So many women that said that I came to them in a dream. I came to them at night and had great sex with them. And so now they believe it even more so. Man, he's talking all this stuff and he's so powerful. And look at it. And man, he came to me and he has great sex with me and he did it. And it's like, I never showed up to these people. I don't know who these people are. But they're drawn to my spirit for whatever reason. So we have to be careful just because we're drawn to somebody's spirit. We have to be careful. I've been drawn to different women's spirits. And they fucked me up. You know what I mean? Just real talk. They've dogged me the fuck out. It's like, how the fuck can I be drawn to your spirit? You're the fucking Antichrist. You're the fucking devil. I'm hurt and mad at them now. Because I was drawn to them. And now I ain't got nothing nice to say about them. And God had to check me. Because I'm calling them bitches and hoes and skanks and you ain't no fucking good and I'm going in. And God's having to check me. It ain't their fault. It ain't their fault. It's your fault. I'm like, how's it my fault? Because you didn't get in alignment with me. You didn't get in alignment with me. You wasn't in alignment with yourself. And the trip is, most of us, if the truth be told, we'll jump into relationships faster than we will jump into a new car. We'll jump into a relationship faster than we will get into a contract to pay for a lease or buy a house. Most of us jumping into relationships, we'll jump into a relationship faster than we will look at the school that we're gonna go to. Most of us do more research and more studying about the job and the perspective of the company that we're gonna try to get into than we do the person when we get in a relationship with. Let the truth be told. We'll invest less time trying to get information about this relationship or this potential relationship. And we'll dive into it because they look good. They talk good. They have all the right material stuff. And we'll spend 15, 20, 30 years, if not more, trying to get over this same relationship that we just jumped into. And that's the truth. That's the great majority of us. The great majority of us, we have all of that in common. We spend more time investing in looking at stocks and other stuff. We'll spend more time researching everything else than we do the person we're giving our heart to, the person we're giving our body to. And it takes us half our life or 3/4 of our life to get over this person, to get over this dumb, toxic decision that we've made. We'll buy a car and it'll be a lemon. And we won't care, we'll ride it, and then we'll just scrap it up. Oh, that's just a loss. We'll go to school and we'll spend years paying off the student loan, and okay, that was great, whatever the case may be, and we're done with that. Man, I put this money down on this apartment. Man, they had all these roaches and rats and da-da-da-da. Man, I couldn't wait to get out of there, and we move on. and we cut it up as a loss. And it don't affect us really. It just affects us financially. But we jump into relationships and we open ourselves up. And now we have to spend the next 15, 20, 30 years to get over that decision. To get over that decision. Because we thought they were the one. How many people, how many of you have jumped in a relationship with somebody? And if the truth be told, 5 years later, 3 years later, 10 years later, you're still, fuck, why did I do that? And some of us, a lot of us, still haven't healed. And then we'll get in another relationship and we think we've healed. And we'll get hurt again. And then we'll jump in another relationship and we think we've healed and we've moved on. And we'll get hurt again. And then we'll jump in another relationship and we think we've healed. And because we moved on. And we'll get hurt again. And we keep jumping in and out of relationships and keep getting hurt. Because we won't grow up and learn the lesson. We'll keep blaming them instead of saying, God, what was I supposed to learn from this? Why do I keep making the same mistakes? We'll lower our standards of our expectations of what we want in a mate because we keep getting disappointed. And no matter how much we lower our standards and our expectations, we still keep getting hurt. Because it was never about the other people. It was always about you. It was always about you getting in alignment with God. And asking God, who is it supposed to be? Who is this supposed to be? Forget what I want because, man, I've had a history of jumping in relationships with people I want, and every one of them failed. So it's no longer about what I want. I thought you was the one, you was the one, you was the one, you was the... I thought all these people was the one. And they've all fucked me over because they were trying to show me. Stop jumping into stuff thinking that this is it. Because this is what you want. You have to go within and get in alignment with God. And ask God, man, is this the one? God, you show me. In the trip, before I met my queen, I'd given up. And what I mean I'd given up, I got to the point, and I think I was talking to somebody on the phone one day. I was doing a coaching and counseling session with them. And I was telling them, I got to the point where I don't think I'm a bad looking guy. I don't, you know what I mean? But I got to the point, it's like, man, fuck. My choices in women suck. You know what I mean? You look at my head, man, I can't pick shit right. So I got to a point, okay, God, I'm done. I'm not choosing another motherfucker. I'm not chasing no woman. The woman that's meant for me, nigga, you're going to have to bring her to me. She's going to have to come to me. And there's going to have to be some things that you have to show me for me to understand that this is the one for me. Because I'm not going off of what I want anymore. Because I've gone off of what I want my whole fucking life. And it ain't worked. It didn't work. So how did I know that my queen was the one for me? This lady that I worked with in California had gave me a painting of a Native American lady. Just gave me this painting. And I looked at it, and oh, it's a cute picture. Just put it up in my house. Didn't think nothing about it. I was homeless, but I kept that picture. Moved to North Carolina, and I took that picture. There was something about this picture I didn't understand, but I liked the picture. I was drawn to the picture. Stay with me, I'm going somewhere. I was drawn to the picture. And I didn't understand why I was so drawn to this picture. Met this young lady in New York, and I didn't even catch it. I'm talking to her on the phone, and I'm telling her, man, this is going to be your year. God has put it in my heart, man, this is your year. Tell her this is, you're going to find the man, you're going to find your king this year. God's going to reveal to you your king this year. God's going to show you your king this year. You have to raise your frequency. You have to believe and know that you deserve your king, your queen. Start asking God, telling God what you want, but get in alignment with God. Let God reveal to you who it's supposed to be. Long story short, she started praying. She raised her frequency. We connected. I had no idea she was the one for me. She knew it. Her mama knew it. I was the last one to know. It wasn't until after we'd been together, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, oh, snap. I got this Indian lady, this picture, this painting. And I'm looking at the painting, and I'm like, oh, God. That's her eyes. Oh, God, that's her nose. That's her mouth. And there's some other things along. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, tripping. And I'm looking at my queen. And I'm like, man, I got this picture. And it's you. But I didn't even know the queen existed. But I got in alignment with God. She got in alignment with God. You can have your heart's desires. You can have all the love, all the sex you want. Make sure it's with the right person. Stop making decisions that's going to cost you years of doing shadow work, years of freaking therapy to get over this person because they were fine, because they looked good, because they talked good. And now you're a wreck. Now you don't trust guys. Now you don't trust women. But you thought they were the one. And everybody else you was with, you thought they were the one too, or you thought they could be the one. And so we have to humble ourselves and get to the point, it's like, man, okay, hold on, wait. I've made a lot of bad decisions when it comes to the opposite sex. I've made a lot of bad decisions when it comes to the one. Whether it was because of the sex or because of what they physically had or whatever the case may be. Whatever the reason, I made a lot of bad choices. So I can't be dependent on my own mind. My body lusts, the desires of my body. I can't trust that because that's led me astray so many times in the past. Making love. in sex. Don't let it cost you your peace and joy. Don't let it cost you your happiness. Don't let it cost you your future. You can have the king, the queen of your heart, of your desires. There's a right person for you. For every one of us, there's the right person. And there's a lot of pretenders. And just like I was telling this young lady earlier today before this live, we get caught up on the pretenders. We can't let go of the pretenders. And as long as you're holding on to the pretenders, to the people of your past, you can never get your king and queen. You can never get the person that you're intended to have. Been emotionally attached to someone else. You can never get the king or queen of your, that you're intended to have. Your soulmate, whatever you want to call it. You can never get that person in your life as long as you're connected to somebody else. Physically or emotionally. Man. My hope and prayer is that I've said something to encourage you, to inspire you, to help you understand that, man, making love is not about sex. Not at all. Making love is about you being completely you, not fragmented, but the whole you, the spiritual, the emotional, and the physical part of you. Being connected to the right person that's able to give their spiritual, emotional, and physical side of them so that you can become one. Not just one physically, but one physically, emotionally, and spiritually. My beautiful queen and I, we love you guys. We thank you guys for being here with us. We thank you for your energy, your comments. Man, thank you for spending this time with us. Happy healing. Peace.